Welcome to more work with iOS productivity and using it as a web developer. So on the last couple episodes, I've talked about my iPad development workflow in general, and I've talked about setting an ergonomic iPad system up for you. Today, what I'm going to talk about is something that I deal with regularly as a developer, and that's dealing with zip files. So I regularly am downloading a zip file of some plugin, some whatever, some JavaScript library that I need to deal with. I need to extract it. I need to get it out into a folder somewhere, and I need to FTP it up. What I'm really going to focus on is how I deal with zip files. So how I unarchive them and archive them, and then I actually have a shortcut set up that I set up recently, actually just 2 or 3 days ago when I was preparing for this episode. And when I set that up, I found that there's an even smoother way to do it than I have been doing it before. We're going to talk about two things, though. We're going to talk about a program called Zipped, and then I'm going to talk about the shortcut. I'm going to walk you through how I built that shortcut so you can see it as well. So we're diving now into how to deal with zip files. What I've got here is a copy of WooCommerce, which is a WordPress e-commerce plugin downloaded, and it's just stored in some file or some location in the Files app. So the first thing that I use regularly, or did use, is Zipped. And I'll grab that, and we can stick it right there. Now, Zipped is quite easy to use. All I have to do is grab it, drag it, and drop it, and wait. So I'm going to save the resulting file, and it's going to ask me where. I'm going to save it right back into shortcuts. I'll add, and you can see that it's just adding it. So now it's taking some time to unarchive this file for me as a zip file. Now it's done, so we can hop inside. It's actually nested it again, but then I have the plugin that I want. So that's one way to deal with zip files. I'm going to delete that quickly. And now the other way that I built for myself, and this is based off something I saw Chris Lawley do, is I'm going to go back over to Firefox where I have the plugin download. And I saw Chris Lawley do this, and there'll be a link to that in the description below. And then I built my own. I built my own instead of downloading his copy because I wanted to see how to build it myself. So what this shortcut does, if I just long press on here and then I share the link, I can go to Shortcuts, and I'm going to do Download and Unzip. I'm going to grab that, and that will download the file. I'm going to show you how this all works. If it's gotten archived, it extracts it, and it's actually grabbed the name as well, and I'll add it to Shortcuts. And now again, we just have to wait. These do take a couple minutes because this is a lot of items inside, really. But I just downloading it, it's going to drop it in Shortcuts, and I'll show it back to you in a second. That's it. If we go back over to Files, you can see it's actually unzipped it all out into the folder here. So then what I need to do is I'll just grab it. I can select all of these, uninstall WooCommerce, and I'm going to move them. I could have dragged and dropped them as well into Shortcuts, WooCommerce, move. So again, there's all the files I need for that plugin for myself. So now let's go over to Shortcuts and take a look at, I've showed you two of the ways that I deal with zip files, but there's actually a third way. That's the one that I stole direct from Chris Lawley. So this is the action that I built based on what he has. And the way this works is the first one, you can see right up here, we have get file to start with. And we've set it up to show the document picker and allow us to select multiple. Unfortunately, currently, iOS doesn't allow me to grab a folder of files and then archive it. It actually makes me grab all the files individually. And so what this does now, next, is it's going to get the details of a file, and we're looking to see if it contains zip. If it contains zip, then we actually want to extract archive. So that's why we have an if statement, and we're going to go back and we're going to get the variable. So we go back up and get the variable of file with magic files, or the magic variable, sorry. Otherwise, we're actually getting the contents of zip, like the file extension, and then we extract it. Now, if it doesn't contain zip, then we want to archive it. And that's the extra if statement here at the bottom, or the otherwise statement. That's where we make archive, and we're off to the races. So that's two ways that I deal with files. You can see the other one that I have here is download and unzip, and where we get the contents of the URL, we get the file name, we get the variable, we create a folder, and then we throw it all together into the shortcuts folder. so that we can later on use something like Coda to FTP this up to a client site. Or I used this recently when I actually needed the sample data inside WooCommerce so that I could grab all the products that they provide as demo products for my store, and then with that data, I could take it and upload it and have a client site with a fully fleshed out store that I could do some demo stuff and do some other content stuff for one of my clients on, and show them how to use WooCommerce better. That's it. I'd love to know if you have any other ways to work with zip files in iOS, how you deal with it, other hurdles you've had. If you have any other actions you'd love to see or shortcuts you'd love to see, I'd love to hear about them. And there'll be download links for all the shortcuts that I built in the description below. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments anything else you want to see.